Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Crypto Hipsters Curtain Calls. This is episode 11. Today, our episode title is Our Lips Are Sealed, Why We Should Think About and Talk About a Future Filled with Helpful AI Agents. This Crypto Hipsters Curtain Call episode is a compilation of 4 clips from 4 podcasts from season 6 through 8, and this episode happens to be just season 8. With 4 men I interviewed. The first is with Colin Fitzpatrick, who is a director of business development at Griffin AI. And we spoke about building a decentralized platform where anyone can create their own custom AI agents. The second person in this episode is the CEO and co-founder of Recall. His name is Andrew Hill. Andrew and I spoke about building an on-chain arena to reward the best AI agents. Third, I spoke with Bulat, who is the Web3 product leader. And Bulat and I spoke about exploring the future of AI agents and their applications for decentralized finance and banking. And then to cap off this episode, I spoke with the CEO and founder, Max Giammario, who is with Kindred. We talked about pioneering the creation of emotionally intelligent AI companions and the first IP-powered AI protocol. During season 8, mainly, but 6 through 8, I had an opportunity to have many conversations about AI agents, and the intersection of blockchain and artificial intelligence. This is the first of many to come. And this is the 11th episode of 67 of the Crypto Hipsters Curtain Calls. My podcasts and this episode can be found on Spotify, Apple, YouTube, iHeartRadio, anywhere you listen to your favorite podcasts. So sit back, enjoy this episode. Our lips are sealed. Well, are they? Let me know your thoughts at the end.
So you're talking about this wave, right? What do founders and business owners need to know about this upcoming wave? And how are they going to be important for them and going forward?
Well, it's a good question. Number one, there really isn't anything to be afraid of here. That's what most people are thinking. There isn't. AI agents are coming to take a lot of the heavy lifting, a lot of the repetitive and boring tasks away from us. That's really the way it looks like. Jensen Huang came out the other day, the CEO of NVIDIA, and he goes, don't worry about AI taking your job because it's going to be a fair long time before AI can do the whole of your job. But AI will be able to do 50% of your job within a few years, but it will need you to manage that. So if you bury your head in the sand and never want to use an AI, you're probably in trouble. However, if you try and stay somewhere towards the forefront of this and see what tools are coming out and try and use them and things like that. And I use a few, but not that many crazy, advanced ones because they're just not that out there and really mature yet, but they will come. And when they come and when they start to become easier to use, if you stay on top of them, they're going to revolutionize your job, your work, and also your life because it'll probably give you an awful lot of time back. The way I like to think about it is it's going to do a lot more of the work we don't like doing, and it's going to give us more time to do the work that we do like doing, which to me and to a lot of people will be about one-to-one communication, dealing with people, making plans, strategies. And then, the busy work that needs to be done afterwards, like the way you might, throw it out to your team to get done. That's what the agents will do. So I envisage a future where, we're like the conductor of an orchestra and having a ton of AI agents out there doing all the work for us at rapid speed to a very high degree of quality. We're just sort of overseeing it like a boss.
Awesome. So, you mentioned DeFi earlier. You've been in DeFi for a few years. So I want to find out how AI agents are going to really transform DeFi and maybe transform Wall Street. altogether and be the future of finance?
DeFi, I think, is extremely interesting because it is this area where it's permissionless finance. And what we've really seen, and we could talk about this for hours with the importance of Bitcoin, which is literally kicking new highs as we speak right now. It's very, very important that we take back control of our money. I like to call Bitcoin freedom money. That's what I think people in the States should really call about it. There's nothing Americans love more than their freedom, and they don't like it being taken away from them, and they don't want overreaching governments. So we should be talking about freedom. But the banks screwed us in 2008, and we need the ability to be able to transact globally in a permissionless way. And you know what the greatest growth is in the job market at the moment? It's remote workers. It's young people who are, I'm 44. If I was 10 or 15 years younger and didn't have a family, I would definitely be traveling the world and living in Asia and, being a digital nomad. And these digital nomads are traveling around the world, and they don't want to be, paid in Thai baht and things like that. No, we want one digital currency all around the world. And I think that's really where I was having this conversation earlier about someone who was a bit of a crypto skeptic, and they were saying, oh, does blockchain really solve any problems that it can't be solved with other things? I was like, well, the whole remittance thing, we're spoiled in the first world. We're spoiled because we all have banks that work and Visa cards and, Venmo and PayPal and things like that. But, go to like some African country or Russia or somewhere like that, and, those problems persist. So we need this sort of global currency that I think is very, very important. We can go down a complete rabbit hole of all of the benefits that Bitcoin brings for the impoverished around the world and the people whose currencies are being completely diluted and things like that. But at the end of the day, the banks are traditionally big and slow, and they rely on the startups to sort of innovate in the area. But I think they're catching up.
So how can people tell which ones are the best, and not just the best, but worthwhile too?
Yeah. Well, there's a broad set of skills that we need to test. And so there's a number of different tools in the toolkit we can begin to deploy to test and measure their performance in different ways. We just launched the first, which is a competition framework. So we actually pit agents against each other on specific skills. The first round of our competition just ended, and this competition was testing a 7-day trading skill among agents. So right now in crypto broadly, there's a lot of teams trying to build agents that can trade profitably in many different ways. And there's a lot of FUD around that system because of exactly what I'm talking about. How would you ever evaluate the potential return of an agent right now besides their word, besides some social credibility, besides some brand? You can't really look at a wallet of an agent and say like, yeah, that's a concrete truth. There's a lot of ways that you could potentially game profitability there and then rug your users later on. So right now, the first competition was pitting the agents against each other in a 7-day trading period where it was completely controlled. So these agents don't know the future. They actually have to make time-based predictions on trades that would be profitable. And then at the end of the 7 days, we just backtest all the predictions, and we figure out who the winner was. And so this is actually really good for the agents too, because these agents have to struggle. How do they surface above that FUD? And especially new agents that are being built that have great ideas, how do they showcase that before they've got the credibility? And so they can come, connect, prove it in this sort of neutral playing field, and the best ones get a lot of attention for doing so.
Got it. It's interesting you brought up the FUD,
Yeah.
and it's interesting that you're wearing that hat. DeepSeek, I was on Twitter looking when DeepSeek first got launched, and there were a lot of anonymous accounts that were saying, hey, you can make millions trading crypto using DeepSeek. You don't have to have any coding skills whatsoever. Oh, and here's a thread of how you do it. And guess what? Every single thread was coding. So how do you navigate that FUD and be like, oh, I'm missing out? You're not really missing out. People might be lying. How do you really evaluate who the FUDs are? How like and how to navigate that, because they're pretty compelling.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that is the challenge. Like the FUD is based on unverified claims. And so you have to sort through all these unverified claims and do that weighting of, brand or person reputation and whatever. So it's really hard just in these high paced systems. So like a good counterpoint to what we're doing is you might say, the market should decide which agents are the best. Like that should work. But what we find is that like the markets are really bad at these early systems that are so fast paced. So the market hasn't had time to figure out how to parse through the information and get the best ones to the top quickly enough. And a lot of us are interested in how we adopt them, not in the like 5 year time frame, but in the like 5 month time frame. And so, yeah, for us, it's all about building these credible protocols where an agent can come showcase its skills around, or showcase its aptitude around specific skills that you can go and measure and you can verify yourself. And it's only one piece of the ingredient. There's a bunch of other things you're going to want from intelligence that tell you should trust it. You're still going to want team reputation. You're still going to want to know who builds it. You're going to still want to know things about the supply chain. Where does this intelligence run? You're still going to want to know that the intelligence you're using is the same intelligence that proved itself on our framework. All those things will have to come into place. But right now, we're really trying to sort out which agents and which agent teams are being honest about their capability. But also, it doesn't matter to us if agents are not able to prove themselves in a competition. These competitions are recurring.
I want to find out what types of, your product manager, right? Your product, chief product officer. So what types of products are you currently building, and how do you envision being able to build, given your vision and mission?
Yeah, cool. So in terms of what kind of products I built, again, different, because I have such diverse experience, right? I worked with ICO, Web3, crypto companies, and there were like dozens of them. Then I worked in the corporate world, building private blockchain solutions for multinational companies. But like my recent 2 years, I spent in a regulated space in the fintech. So I also have exposure to this. In terms of like what I'm building, or what I want to talk about, right, is about Web3 projects in general, like DeFi market, and maybe we can also touch about funding and KOL marketing for new projects, because it's quite interesting area for me. And again, it aligns quite well with the AI agents. Like the future of Web3 KOLs and AI agents is very interesting to me to discuss, because even now you can easily launch a Twitter account connected to AI, and it will be AI agent behind the scenes, promoting your account and engaging with your audience, growing this audience. And we saw an example when an AI agent KOL became, first of all, they became a KOL, or it became, how should I kind of address them? They, or he or she or it. So it became a KOL, right? Influencer. Then it got 50K funds in BTC. So it actually raised money. Then someone created a token, and this AI agent became a millionaire. So it's quite crazy to think about it. So the rise of KOLs and AI driven influencers, I think it started already, but what we will see in 1 year, I think it will be even more crazier. Like millions of AI-driven influencers, KOLs, creators will be on X, on TikTok, on everywhere, and then there will be very interesting. Very interesting. How would you follow them, or how would you trust them, or would you rather trust this AI-driven KOL, or would you trust actually human KOL? someone who is behind the scenes? Or, how would you define that someone that is pretending to be human? Is it like a real human, or is it very sophisticated AI agent that is trying to mimic a human? So the whole thing about being someone on social is being, I think, shaped and redefined.
So that goes back to my question about, time, being able to be present for our lives. So if we have this AI agent, we have an AI KOL, wouldn't we have more time to focus on other things that we want to do? And how will that, help the influencer who's been struggling to get an audience? What's the trust trade-off there?
Yeah, that's I'm thinking about it, right? And one scenario is, as you said, like we will have more time to do our stuff, and probably these AI agents will go and earn money for us, right? But then if everyone can launch hundreds of AI agents and they will task them to make money, who will be making money?
What's the role of the community, and how will AI and relationship focused AI help make the community stronger?
Yeah, I think that's one of the reasons we love Web3 in that sense. It is a beautiful way to provide a sense of purpose, meaning, ownership in the community. And I think it's actually something that's necessary for a product like ours. So you imagine Kindred, I think when we came into it with the very kind of linear thinking of, okay, people would love pets, they would love 2D vector illustrations, and this will be the AI going forward. As I learned very quickly, there are so many different demographics of people that want different avatars, right? Whether it's IP characters, whether it's their favorite celebrity as a chibi version, whether it's their game character, right? Or their own avatar itself, where they create their own. And so to be able to scale this truly to cater towards every single person on Earth, right? Which is obviously not the goal right now, but something that we see in the future, right? Everybody will have a personal AI, and I believe it will be visualized. And so to be able to cater towards that, giving the ecosystem that distribution of royalties, that sense of ownership is going to be absolutely key to scaling this and allowing people to create their own avatars. Similar to why Apple opened an app store, right? There's so much that Apple can do, and there's so much that Apple can't do. And so being able to open up that community just allows the skies to be the limit.
I think it's been a few years, but a lot of my guests a few years ago were building NFTs. Okay.
Yep.
And you hear a lot less about NFTs now, but I'm looking at what you're doing, and I'm like, I think there could be a resurgence of NFTs, but with the AI aspect, to it. How do you think your company, your creation, your innovation can bring back NFTs to the forefront?
Yeah, so actually we just launched the Clara collection. So Clara is our first, let's say, mascot of Kindred, and it's an NFT collection that will eventually become something you can jumps onto your screen and ends up being your AI sidekick. That was launched a couple of days ago. We're still #1 on Abstract as the top NFT project. And so like that gave us a good confidence in being able to see this system in place. And so the idea here is that every IP collection we launch on a monthly basis. So let's say next month is Hello Kitty, the month after that is Astro Boy, and so on and so forth for the next 16 months. Each one of those collections are NFTs, right? And the key distinction here is that each one that you have, right, essentially is that unique entity. It's actually quite important for the emotional bond to express the uniqueness, the fact that this is one of one to an individual user. Right? Just like, for example, your dog, right? You know that there's only that dog in existence. There's one of one. Like, even if you try to clone it, it's going to be that one dog that you always stick to, right? And that sense of appreciation that this is something that is, once it's gone forever. that is actually quite an important part to express. And the best way to express that is with an NFT and blockchain. And then obviously all the other side benefits of having that Web3 component comes into play.
Ladies and gentlemen, this was episode 11 of the Crypto Hipsters Curtain Calls. My questions for you are our lips sealed? Why should we think about and talk about AI agents, what they can do for us? What can they do for us? Where will they be helpful? I know they're helpful in AI trading and crypto trading, but what else? How can they impact our daily lives? We have to start thinking about that, especially, for those who are not natively growing up in this technology innovation space, but who have, a little bit older like me, who are now embracing AI agents. Are you reluctant to take them on? Are you embracing technology change? Where are you at? Let me know your thoughts. Anyway, enjoy. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and join me next time for episode 12. And episode 12, we're going to talk all about everyone's favorite crypto topic, which is Bitcoin. I'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in.